Okay, so what is Stack? Well, Stack is a question type, and it's embedded either in the Moodle quiz or in the Ilias learning environment. Okay, and Stack generates random questions. The answers, I don't think Zoom is doing the right thing with my screen here, so I'm going to go out of full screen. Sorry, folks. So Stack is a question type for maths. It generates random questions. The answers contain mathematical content. The whole point of this system is that we then establish the mathematical properties of those answers with a computer algebra system, in particular with Maxima. And on the basis of the mathematical properties that you as a teacher can choose to establish, we can produce some outcomes. So they will typically be formative outcomes like feedback, a summative outcome, a numerical score, and then hidden in the background for you as a teacher are evaluative outcomes. So the system stores everything, and you can then look at those, and you can then use those statistics to improve the quality of your teaching, improve the feedback to students. You might choose to adjust the marks and so on. We're going to talk more about that on Friday. Okay, so why did I build this? Stack is software which I have written. Primarily, I built Stack because assessment is the cornerstone of effective education. It really drives students' activity. It's the primary way we engage students in activities. And so assessment has always been the heart of my thinking. And we need assessments worth teaching to. And also, we need to take responsibility. We need to take responsibility for our core business. There are lots of major textbooks, and the popular textbooks are increasingly coming with online assessments and resources. But I think as an academic community, we should be taking responsibility for those for ourselves and in our own teaching. And so having a tool, a platform where you can write your own questions as a teacher, I think is really important. We should have that. We need that. And my goal was always to collaborate on that infrastructure and then allow people to build their own questions and do what they want in their own teaching context. Now, it's kind of clear, and it has been clear for 50 years or so actually, that maths assessment needs bespoke tools. We need to accept mathematical answers from students. Well, I've said I've got an open platform and that we should collaborate on the infrastructure, but actually, Stack is widely used. There are commercial textbook publishers using Stack to underpin their business. And it's widely used internationally. There are now about 900 registered sites using Stack, and it's been translated into all sorts of languages. There's a large group of people in Japan, and they've translated the whole thing. So notice not only the questions translated, but all the feedback from Stack can be translated as well. The whole system is translated, and individual questions can support multiple language versions. So for those of you who are not from the UK, I hope that Stack is already in your particular language. And if you need help translating Stack, then just let me know. Okay, so I'm now going to just switch and show you a demonstration quiz that we have set up here. So just to show you what it is that we are talking about, I will go to, let me just show you how to get here actually, would be the sensible thing. So back to the home page of the site, into the demonstration site. I get asked a lot actually about this demonstration site. All the materials on this demonstration site are freely available if you go to GitHub. I'll post this link, GitHub Maths, and you go into Stack. This is where the source code for Stack is. You're all welcome to look at the source code. If you go into sample questions, this demo, MBZ, is exactly this course, right? So you already have access to all the questions on this course. If you want sample materials or you want the question banks, there are tried and tested question banks here that we've used for example questions in a whole range of fields. So if you want that material, there's about 450 questions. It is already freely available. You don't need to ask me for it. Anyway, in here we have a demonstration quiz. I will continue the last attempt and jump back to question 1. And here's question 1. And this is my contribution. So all of the quiz structure, the whole virtual learning environment, this is Moodle. This question here, this information is actually just an information item. It's not a Stack question. and you can add information items into your questions along with all the other Moodle question types. But this is my contribution. It's a perfectly dull methods-based integration question, but it illustrates the points I made earlier. The student's answer has to be some mathematical content. We have separated out concepts of validity and correctness. So here is validity. You can't even think about that answer until it's got syntactic validity. And then you can choose to reject some things as invalid and not wrong, right? They might have meant 33/100ths, but I doubt it. They probably meant 1/3. So as a teacher in this situation, I'm not allowing floating point numbers. This separation of robustness, the separation of validity and correctness massively increases the robustness of your marking algorithms. And when the student has decided that they're happy with their answer, we can decide whether it's correct or not. And here you can see the power of using a computer algebra system. We have really taken the student's answer, and on the basis of that answer, we've tried to decide if it's correct. What does correct mean? Well, we might come back to that. It's not correct, so we have used the computer algebra system and we have built some feedback based on the student's answer. In fact, the derivative of your answer with respect to x is this, so you must have done something wrong. We've taken the student's answer, we've differentiated it, and we've included that calculation in the feedback. Okay, what's the correct answer here? Well, it's got to be a symbolic antiderivative, so let's see if I can get that right. Live, I hope I can. Good, there we go, that's valid. Now this is still incorrect. You need to add a constant of integration, otherwise this appears to be correct. And I have chosen to give that 0 marks, and that's something we can certainly discuss. There are separate formative and separate summative outcomes, and you may not agree that that's worth no marks. Well, that's your business. In this context, students can have another go, so I've decided that that's worth no marks. So let's add in a separate property that makes this answer correct, and now they've got it right. There we go, okay. All right, so the rest is just features, and I'd encourage you to come back and have a look at the Stack Demo course and have a look at the features that we've got. It's now just a features game. What can we do? What can't we do? There is a law of diminishing returns, and the extent to which we can automatically mark free-form proof is limited at this point, and I think will be a very difficult problem. But just because a tool doesn't do everything doesn't mean it doesn't do something useful. In fact, it does a lot useful. Okay, so that I hope it gives you a good idea. The goal of today is to make sure that by the end of this morning, all of you have had an opportunity to create a working version of a question similar to the one I've just shown you. And after that, you just have to go in your own directions, and we will try and help you sort out those assessments for teaching.